Hello friend, it's Tonton. In today's video, we're gonna review how to know when a new generation is out. Whether in-game, like what I said in yesterday's guide, like the mold you are doing, and you don't have the magician skill, that's what you do. And if you want the magician skill, like Harry Potter or whatever, then you can do the real strategy. But that's a good way to know already if you are lazy or if you don't pay too much attention what's going on, if you want something simple. The calendar in this game is working 4 days in advance. So when you are Thursday, you can see Monday, and Monday it's when new things are happening, new building levels and things like that. So if you want to know if there is a new generation of heroes, you wait Thursday on each week and you check events. And we are Gen 8 and you look at Tundra Trading Station. Oh, Gen 9. Okay, so that we have Gen 9 Monday for sure. But you will tell me, oh, you don't ever have trading station. It's only once a month. Okay, then you have Hero Rally. And sometimes, in the earlier generation, we used not to have Hero Rally too much in advance. Sometimes we got it the day before, something like that. But nowadays, this thing seems to be a bit more reliable. So you can use Hero Rally, you can use Tundra Trading Station. And if you have, we don't have the Lucky Wheel right here. But if we add the Lucky Wheel, it will show, and the Lucky Wheel is Tuesday, so you will see it on Friday. You will show it here, right? It will be being seen here. So any events that is showing you either a generation or that showing you some shards, you can guess that you will get the next generation. And it's not always at the end of a hero rally. Sometimes you will have two running at the same time. That's totally okay. So that's the in-game way to know. I'll show you some non-in-game way to know that, we kind of looked at yesterday, but I'll show you some other ones as well. What most people use is that from the official Discord, so that made by some other guide creator on the official Discord. So you can see like the basic heroes, and you can see, like you get Gen 1 at day 0 right here. So you get all of these, and 40 days later you get Gen 2, then 80 days later you get Gen 3. So that goes quickly, that's 3-4 months. Then Ammos, Gen 4, then Gen 5. So you can see all of these. And that's more or less roughly it's when you are eligible for it. It's not when you will have it. But around that date, you're going to be eligible. And you can see the good thing about that timeline is like it goes up to Gen 12, but I'm sure it might even go to Gen 14 now. And you can see everything else, right? So you can see the new buildings, you can see the pets, you can see the red gear, you can see the War Academy, you can see many stuff. So that's from the official Discord. I've made a variation of that you can download on my Discord. So you click on the link, it will basically open a Google Sheet that you can go to File, make a copy, and you can use it. And all you have to do is to change the yellow cell at the top right? And the yellow cell is very simple. If you don't know the date of the creation of your states, because maybe you didn't log every day. For me, I logged every day, so I could, remove this amount of days. But if you did not log in for a day or two, what you do is you go to the monument, you go at the top, and you pick the first date that you find. So for me, I transferred state, so that's, that's not when I started to play the game with that city, but that's when that state was created, right? So that will be 24, the 9th of March. That's the way it works. So that's how we'll know. And if I go back to my guide, I will basically change it 9th of March. It's actually set for my state. And then you will see Gen 1, Gen 2, first Sunfire Castle battle. So I've added a bit more things than in the kind of timeline that I've shown you before. But here, the date is not super precise. It's just based on when you are eligible, so you can get it more or less 2 weeks in advance or 2 weeks later, depending a bit on the generation. But that's giving you a good idea of what you will get. What else did I add? I added Frozen Tyrant, State Merger eligibility, State Transfer eligibility, which is roughly around Gen 3. That's a question you guys have been asking as well. So State Merger is closer to Gen 7, Tyrant is closer to Gen 7. It's missing 2 dry arm links because I'm not very clear. I did not pay attention last time, so I will need next time. So when it's released, I need to add experts, which are around the Wartech Academy here. So there are the experts as well. So it's missing a few things, but it's more or less complete, and soon I will update it again. So that's one good way because that's telling you the date. So on the timeline I've shown you from the official Discord, you just see more or less, amount of days, and then you have to calculate yourself. Here it's all calculated for you. So to be able to access it, you just go here, you click on that link on my Discord. So you join my Discord in the description. You find on the Tonton's guide, you go to general, you go to state, timeline. And if you have an issue, ask in the Discord, someone will point it out for you. And you click there, you make a copy, and you can use it, change it if you want, remove some, add some, whatever you want to do. And that will be more precise. The best way to do it is what we've seen yesterday. So that's a bit harder to read. And on the left, you can see the states. So it goes up to, 3,000. This one is a bit outdated. I have one that is more updated on my state, on my Discord as well. That's made by PCB. That's someone else that's making that. And here what you can see is like one column, the left one is the buildings, but that's not what we are talking about today. And the other one is generation. So you see the generation of heroes here. So if you match your states, and let's say I'm in 275, and I want to know when I will get Gen 12. So here I'm all in Gen 11, Gen 11, Gen 11, Gen 11, Gen 11, Gen 11, Gen 12. I check up is on the 8th of December. Okay, I will get Gen 12 on the 8th of December. So I can prepare my shards. I can decide which row I will get. So that's the best way to know. And you can match, that's not updated. If I pick the most updated one that we looked at transfers yesterday, so I put it in two places. This one goes up to 3,245. That's very important, to be able to anticipate when it comes to heroes. If you ask me why, I'm just going back to my hero. Not the timeline one I want. State timeline, right? So yeah, so for your heroes, the bottleneck will be you cannot do all of them, right? So you will have some of these shards, and you will, and that you can use them on the new generation. Let me put the webcam back as well. And one of the issues is you won't get enough. So you will need to plan exactly what you want. So, Gen 1, you will likely do a bit of Deanman, but that's going to be done with the Lucky Wheel. You're not going to use your SSR shards, so you will do a bit of Molly, but you won't use that much on Molly that are SSR shards because you will get a lot from the game. You maybe use 1 or 200, that's it. Geronimo and Natalia are for spenders. And Gen 2, you will get Flint from the Lucky Wheel. Most people, will get Alonso. I suggest you get Alonso. He's really amazing. Then Gen 2, you can skip Philly. Gen 3, you're likely gonna get Mia from the Lucky Wheel again. Then you might skip the rest, but Greg is very good for Arena as well. Not as good as Alonso, but he's very good. Logan is very bad. That dude, Infantry is very bad, so nearly everyone is keeping Logan. Then Gen 4, you will get, from the Lucky Wheel, you will get Lynn, which is a decent marksman, but not amazing, but she is decent, so you will get her. And then that's when you start to have Reyna, that's really good for Arena. You can start to have Ammo, that is a very good rally joiner for defensive situations, for Garrison, and stuff like that. So you see, you will start to have a lot of choice, and particularly with the new meta with heroes where you don't stack for Patrick and you use one Patrick, you use one Sergei, you will use maybe one Amos, and you can use one offensive hero, so one Reyna, one Jesse, one Geronimo, something like that, to kind of have a variety of skills that works better than stacking. You will want to have, multiple heroes. So you will need to plan to collect shards and to at least put 4-star in them. My suggestion for heroes would never be to get all of them and to do 3 stars. Which some people are doing, is more like, okay, invest in them, at least 4 stars. And the one that I have 2 or 3 stars is because I got the shards 2 generations later with Intel Mission. So Reyna, I used 0 shard on Reyna. I never spent shard on Reyna, but eventually I did Intel Mission for quite a while, and the game gave me shards, so I could actually catch her up. But when I was Gen 4, Reyna was 0 shards, and I maxed out Amos, and I maxed out Lynn because I had the shards because I transferred. But if you don't transfer, you might not have enough to max them out, but at least 4 stars. So whenever you invest on a hero, you don't really need to do the widget. Widget you could do level 1 or 2, that's enough as free to play. Do at least 4 stars because what matters is the skill level 5. That's what will carry you in Arena as a free-to-play, or that's what will carry you as a rally joiner or rally leader. That's the most important part. So 4 stars, and that's what you want. If you want to kind of know what to do with your heroes, now that you know when they will be releasing, I'll show you exactly what I prepared for you. So if you look on my Discord, I made 3 paths for you. So you go again on the Discord general guide, you find the heroes 1. And the first post on that guide is you have 3 rotations. So the first rotation is for very active to low spenders. So this is not the most common one. That's not the one for everyone. The one by default will be this one, the chill rotation for free to play. And that I'm giving you the bare minimum you should do. And you might have an extra room to pick another hero every 2 to 4 gens based on how casual you are, and if you play, based on how you play, if you rank in events and stuff. But that will be the baseline you can follow until Gen 12. So you just have to follow here. If you are spending a bit more, if you are very active, if you follow my guide, if you rank in event well, you might have a bit more shards, and you can follow this one, which is rotation for very active players and low spenders. So low spenders is up to $100. That's kind of the reference I'm using here. And you can see there are a bit more heroes, and you have some comments about what to do. But Flint Alonso, Gen 2, Gen 3, it's only Mia, Gen 4, Lynn, and you can do either Amos or Reyna, depending on what you want. Reyna is great rally joiner for offense, and she's great in arena. Amos is really good as a rally joiner for defense. And because you have very weak infantry at that stage of the game, is good for arena and whatever you do. Gen 5, you're going to get Hector and Gwen. They are both amazing. Gen 6, Rene, Bradley is amazing, all of that. And I've made a third version recently, which is like, if I would restart the game, spend €1,000 a month, that's what I will be aiming for. It could work with less than 500. So it's like really focused on doing bear damage and having good joiner for bears. And you could do slightly different changes if you want to be more like solo march player. If you want to care more about your arena than your bear damage, you can swap some of these, of course. These are mostly focused on being a good bear, rally joiner and rally leader for, even if you're free to play, to make the most damage. So this one is really to focus on making the most damage as possible on bear as a medium spender, so not as a rally leader. So Geronimo widget 10 because you're gonna keep Geronimo forever. Alonso widget 10 because you're gonna keep him for a very long time, or maybe 6 or 8, something like that, because 10 is a lot more expensive than 8 and then 6, but 6 is already really good. Mia widget 10 because you're gonna keep her forever, and then all the other infantry marksman hero that you got, because you're gonna keep Geronimo and Mia forever. So if you're a spender, that's really worth putting the money there, because every other packs are bad in Gen 1, 2, 3. So that's, you spend the money where you have the value that you will benefit from the long term when packs are bad. And then Gen 4, 5, 6, the packs are getting a lot better. So then you can shift from spending, on buying Geronimo and his widget, and you can go towards like real packs to focus on your charms, hero gear, chief gear, and all of that. So you can follow that. So that's on my Discord. That's available for you, and that's kind of guide you about, kind of your choices with heroes. That's one of the questions I got the most, is what do I do with my heroes? By default, you do that. And if you think, on your own and you're like, but, I've made slightly different decision, I care more about arena, then you might want to go for Reyna Gen for sure, right? You might want to add Reyna here. She's really good and stuff like that. So that's conversation we can have, but you have my default, you have my recommendation, you have how to predict your heroes. Now you know when you will get new generation that work for transfers as well, as we've seen yesterday. So hopefully it was helpful. Consider joining the Discord. There is all the important information available in there, and consider subscribing to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being part of the community, and I see you in the next one. Bye-bye.